Hello, you're welcome to today's lecture. So today we are looking at lecture 9, performance management and employee development. I wish that you take a moment to reflect on where we began with this whole course, where we talked about what performance management is, what is its essence, what its importance, and you would want to reflect on how performance management relates to employee development. Does it have anything to do with that at all? Okay, so if your thoughts or your um, um, memory serves you right, you will remember the fact that performance management is a continuous process that is systematic and involves you putting in place the best of performance management systems to make sure that employees are being monitored or their work is well assessed by their managers or their supervisors, and that they are getting the right feedback at the right time in a very clearly communicated manner so that they can improve. Okay, so this is where employee development comes in, because we get the feedback so that we can improve upon the work we do, and also that we can develop. And that means that we would have to figure out areas that we are not performing very well. And so today, that's what we are trying to look at, the aspect where we take a closer look at changing certain things or taking steps that will make us grow, that will make us better in the things that we are doing, or in the job or the career that we find ourselves in. Now, employee development process can be championed or it can be promoted more by three different faculties or three different contributors. The first one is the employee himself. Okay, so that as an employee, you have the key mandate to your development. So if you want to improve, the first characteristic or the first ingredient is the employee getting involved or championing that process. Number two, the managers who help guide the process of employee development for their staff. So this is why we are studying this course as human resource managers in future, so that we put in the right resources, or we put in the right systems that will ensure that our staff are developed. And also the third is the organization as a whole organization represented by the HR, of course, unit or department or directorate. You would need to be involved, and you are able to champion the development of the employee. So developmental planning is a joint activity, as we can see, and it is entered into by both the employee, the manager, and the organization as a whole. Okay, and so we need all these three parties to play their role very well to be able to get the employee developed. Personal developmental plans specify courses of action to be taken to improve performance. Personal developmental plan is very, very crucial. If, as an employee, you need to have a personal development plan, because that is how you know areas that you need to take action on. So these plans highlight an employee's strengths and the areas in need of development. So you can think of it in that sense of drawing or coming up with a SWOT analysis of your career or of your your job as an employee. What are your strengths? Okay. And what are your opportunities? What are the threats? And so on and so forth, so that you are able to put down actionable plans, things that you need to take action on to be able to improve. So these plans will highlight an employee's strengths and areas in need of development, and they provide an action plan to improve in areas of weakness and further develop areas of strength. Personal development plans allow employees to answer the following questions. How can I continually learn and grow in the next year? So it means that you need to put in some timelines in there. You can make it 6 months if you like. How can I do better in the future? How can I avoid performance problems faced in the past? The aim of a personal development plan is to improve. Number one, to improve performance in current job. Okay, your second aim is to sustain the performance. So that, because you're going to identify areas that need improvement, areas that need to be sustained, or what we say, keep up doing it. Whatever it is that you are doing that is good, you will want to continue doing that. It will need to also prepare employees for advancement, enrich the employees' work experience. Okay, so these are the areas that your plan or your development plan should cover. For the employee to develop him or herself to perform better, it is important to start from the choice of career. Okay, the choice of career. So this is to say that you begin your whole personal development planning from the point where you choose your career, even before you choose your career, actually. So that's what, and so we want to see what is a career. Okay, a career can be defined as the pattern or sequence of work roles of an individual. So you find yourself in a job place, and you tend to, you have certain roles. Okay, I am a teacher, I'm a lecturer, and so my role is what? To teach, to disseminate knowledge by publishing, okay, and also to take part in community development. So that becomes my career. And so I would need to be able to invest in these areas and to develop. It is also to be also, it can also be the upward movement and advancement in work roles. So when we say career development, what also comes in mind is you being able to grow. Okay, there are growth ranks in every career. And so when we talk about career, I think that is the first thing that comes to mind, how you are going to progress from, you don't stay where you are, but you want to be able to keep moving up. So as an employee, to enable you grow or to develop in your career path, you need to know what the areas of growth are, what the steps of growth are, what the rankings are, and what is required. And this is something that is so simple. Sometimes we just mess it. We wait until it is time to be promoted, then you are looking for what it is we need to be promoted. But you should know that there are requirements. Sometimes there are things that you need to have started doing 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. And so at the very beginning, or even before you get in there, I think that the first thing that an employee can do for themselves is to make sure that they learn everything that is involved in developing or in being progressive in that career path. If you are a manager or whatever position you are in a bank or in the police service, you want to ask, the first thing you want to ask for is the progression criteria. What do I need to be doing? What do I need what number of service in whatever way. So you need to school yourself. You need to be humble enough to ask for this and have, if not, you find that people that you came with will be progressing when you are still not. An ongoing and formalized effort that focuses on developing enriched and more capable workers. That is according to Gomez. Another definition is the long life series of activities that contribute to a person's career exploration, establishment, success, and fulfillment, according to Dessler 2008. And then career development needs to be viewed in the context of the life and development of the whole person, and not just the person as an employee. So that it will be really a difficult thing if you separate your career development from your entire life, because they are intertwined. In fact, at some point, your entire life would be your career life. So you need to have a plan that embodies everything. The responsibility for managing career development is within the individual, even though organizations may play a key role. So we need to know that the individual plays, in fact, the biggest role. You are the biggest driver of your career development. Now, in looking at this career development, we want to look at the stages that we have. And we have 5 main stages. That's the occupational choice stage, the organizational entry stage, the early career establishment and achievement stage, the mid-career stage, and then the late career stage. Now, when we talk about the occupational choice stage, that is when you are preparing for work. And this has to do with the period before you enter or before you start a job in a particular career. And so the age range is somewhere, from the moment you are born to somewhere age 25. That's if you're lucky to have a job by the age 25. And so you need to have some development of an individual's occupation, self-image. At that stage, that's what you are doing. You are educating yourself, and you are occupied with your self-image. You're trying to match process between strengths and weaknesses. You're looking at the values and desire, your lifestyle of and also what it is you want to be. So those are the times when we ask ourselves, what do you want to be in future? And these days we have career days where children, in the very early, even in crèche, are wearing uniforms or attires that would depict what they want to be in future. So from the very beginning, you are already training yourself to get used to what it is. You want to know your desire, and all these things sit on your desire. Individuals must require or acquire the knowledge and skills they need to to compete in the marketplace. So like I said about career development and being able to know what is required, it is very important that no matter how, the earlier you get to know, the better, or the best for you, the better advantage you have. So it's important that you learn what it is you need to be able to compete in the marketplace. There are challenges at this stage. That is the challenge of lack of self-awareness, because you are so young, okay, you don't know so much of even yourself, not to talk of what it is. So it's an exploratory stage, but you want to do the best about this stage, and make sure that you learn as much as you can. Be more open to learn. And also, another challenge is that you may be limited in terms of choice based on your culture. If your culture does not support certain career paths, it becomes difficult, or the society in general, or your gender also prevents you, or makes it difficult for you to go in a certain way. It's also difficult to get authentic information on careers not pursued by family members or friends. So it's as if it is the kind of society you find yourself, the kind of family you find yourself, that will dictate what you would do. We realize that people who grew up with parents who are teachers or nurses, tend to choose this career path. Just 2 days ago, I was talking to my two nieces, and I was trying to campaign as to why they need to aspire to be a lecturer. The only challenge was that, lecturers are not paid very well. So, but then I succeeded in getting one to say that she wants to be a lecturer. Yeah, so that's how it works. Your family, it's a limitation, but it can also be a strength. And that is if your family is well exposed. Then we have the organizational entry stage. Some people get jobs as early as when they are 18. Now, so this becomes the point where you have started work. And if you are able to get the kind of job that you actually want, that becomes excellent. But difficulty is when you land a job that you are you started only because you want to be paid, you want to survive. Okay, these days because of the lack of avenues to enter, you want to be a doctor, but it's difficult to even get trained because of the restrictions. It might also be because of economic reasons or financial reasons. You are unable to afford to even go there, or you have finished as a doctor, but you are not able to get to do the job. Nurses, we are told, are being trained and not being posted on all of that. So at some point, you might have to fall on doing something else. That becomes difficult and makes your career path very complicated. Now, the challenge at this stage is that when you have just started work, let's say that you have found your dream work and you have started, um, organizations do not provide realistic job previews. We realize that in appraisal, or even when we are being employed, you go for an interview and all that. All the employers want is that have they satisfied our requirements, and then we pick them. We never get a feedback that makes you develop. That is quite a challenge. The stage also where from 25 to 40, this is where you are learning the job. You are learning organizational rules and norms. This is where you're trying to fit into the occupation or the organization very well. You're still trying to find your feet. You're still trying to learn the culture of the organization. Your concern is with demonstrating competence. You really have to show that you belong there, and you have to convince them by doing a lot of work. Finding promotion opportunities. This is where I said when you enter, you need to know what is required and be able to make sure that you are walking on that path. Then you are you want to receive feedback from the firm. And this is where the role of the HR comes in, or appraisals or performance management, where you are making sure that you're giving feedback to the employee to be able to improve. Now, there are challenges at this stage also. You find a good fit. Finding a good fit is not easy. You find yourself moving from here and there. I struggled a bit there, whether to remain an administrator or to be a faculty member, what is required to do that, how to, maneuver all of that. It becomes a bit challenging. Um, Increasing knowledge and skills. You have to increase before, if not, you will not be promoted. Developing good relationships, very key at this stage. You need to know who to go with. If not, you can really mess up your career path. Now, the next stage is the mid-career stage, as when you are around your 40 to 55 years old. And here, this is where you begin to reevaluate your career and your life direction. You want to reappraise your early career decisions to reaffirm or modify your career goals. It's not too late, even at this stage, for you to know or to decide to redirect yourself to redirect your course, to change it altogether, and to move towards a direction that you believe is more favorable. And one could decide to change or advance. So if you decide to advance, that becomes a very stable decision to make, and you should do that considering a whole lot of things. It may also involve further growth and advancement. Okay, so you get to the stage where you realize that I may need to take certain courses, I may need to take certain steps that will improve my career path. You may also experience decline, okay? And for those who advance, organizational support becomes important. Because if you are declining or you are redirecting your course, it means that you may have to leave the particular organization that you find yourself in. But if you are progressing, it means that this is where the organization can support you in ways that you need. So the organization will need to put systems in place where they get feedback from the employee as to what it is they need to be able to progress. Then we have the late career, which is around your 50 plus. Individuals at this stage become concerned with maintaining and securing their outcomes and with passing on their experience to others. At this stage, you realize that you need to look at making sure that you are secured where you are, but also to have to train people who will come and take your place, because you know that you'll soon be exiting. Older workers will not necessarily be slower. Organizations need to provide flexible work patterns, continue training, and avoidance of discrimination. It is important that we treat older employers or employees with a lot of care, because we know that when they were young, they gave their youth to this organization. And that is reassuring for the younger ones, because then you know that when you get older, you are not going to be thrown away, because everyone will grow old. So that if young ones in an organization see how you treat your older generation, they will be motivated or demotivated depending on how you are treating them. So do not think that, oh, we're just treating a group of them. I mean, they are going to exit and so what. Know that it will affect the generations that are still coming, that they are watching. The challenge here is grooming a successor. It's very challenging to groom a successor. Okay, so you realize that it is not easy to get someone to fill your shoes when you are not there. And also, this is where you are preparing for retirement. So that is, your mind is on how you are exiting, whether you're going to have the best of benefits, how you're going to survive, and that can be challenging. Now, Hallard's personality type theory talks about the importance to develop a match between an individual's personality type and the selection of a particular career. Holland believes that when individuals find career that fits their personality, they are more likely to enjoy their work, stay in their jobs longer, and that the personality type theory shows the type of working environment that a person would find most satisfying. Now, Holland exposes 6 basic career-related personality characteristics. And so they are realistic. This means that this um, personality characteristic enjoys doing manual activities or something with visible outcomes. So these are characteristics we need to watch in ourselves, or the organization needs to observe and direct the paths of employees as much as possible. Okay, so if you have the realistic type. You need to know which job type or career that would accept you better or would be the best for you. There's also the investigative. This one likes to study and solve scientific and mathematical issues. Okay, so there are these category also. You need to know those who are artistic. They like creative art, drama. They are comfortable with repetitive activities. They can, you know, they're very act with good with writing things, poems and drama and things like that. And there's also the social. These are people who like to help people. They like to teach. They like social work. They like solving social problems. And this is where I fall. Okay, that's why I'm a teacher. And there is the enterprising. They like managing people. They love reading, persuading others. They are very enterprising in nature. Then there's the conventional. These love to work with numbers or machines or records and structured activities, and they can find themselves in places like the banks and financial institutions in general. So we need to know these categories, identify them at the very early ages of our lives so that we fit in very early. That's the only way we can enjoy our career path. Career anchors or form of self-assessment. Career anchors enable employees to become fulfilled because their career direction matches who they are. Okay, so if you are not a mismatch, you tend to enjoy what you do because you were made for that and you have the energy to do it. It is based on putting priority on a number of values important to the employee. There's also employees are to determine their anchors and then management can help with development. So like we keep saying, when it comes to career development, the individual employee is very, very key. In fact, it's as though you would have to do about 70-80% of the work. So you need to, the work of knowing where you are is largely on you yourself as an employee. So how this works is, so if I identify with my profession and I like to use my skills, now management can help me by giving me opportunity to develop my work standard and to mentor me or um, make me mentor another person. Okay, so I need to identify with my profession and um, like to use my skills. So I need to identify where I want to use my skills so that the work or the organization can help me to anchor that to make it better. And also number two, if I like having a broad overview and enjoy responsibility, then management can give the worker opportunity to lead projects or teams. Number three, if I like to work independently, now the management can ask the worker to take on the role of an internal consultant and tackle a workplace problem. Number four, if I like it when things are stable and predictable, the management can let me know that staying in my current position is an option. Okay, so that's the way that management can help me. They, if I they identify that I like to be in a predictable place. That's how they can help me. Also, if I like the challenge of starting something new, management can give me new projects and let me develop ideas in an internal entrepreneur or as an internal entrepreneur. Also, if I want to make the world a better place, so if I'm that type, um, management can offer some responsibilities for a company program, such as opportunity to partner with a local charity project, something like that. Also, if I like competition and enjoy solving problems, Then management can set stretch goals with the worker and empower me to make the decisions needed to get there. And lastly, if I want to balance in life, then management can offer worker flexibility in his or her work schedule. Mostly women are in need of this type of support because we at some point have to balance taking care of the family, children, our husbands, and also being career women. So the two stages of career development will be the individual and the organization. Now, at the individual level, the individual strategies that can be taken, one is by creating opportunities. Building an appropriate critical skills and experiences needed for a career in the firm. Okay, as an individual, you need to build capacity. You need to make sure that you get the appropriate skills. So if from the very onset you want to be a lecturer, you have to take decisions as far back as from your first degree, because I remember taking decisions about the kind of project work I wanted to do, because I knew that if you wanted to get into academia, you need to do um, your you need to start by doing research-based courses. So I made sure that I did a long essay. I did a major, because if you combined, you will not write a project work. So I chose not to, so that I will write a project work, not because it was easy, but because I knew that it will lead me to my career path. I did an MPhil instead of doing an MA because I knew that I needed to build on that to be able to go into academia. Okay, because I have people who did MA and only to realize that it would not align with their career path, so they had to do an MPhil again. Okay, so it's always very crucial for you to be the one to take opportunities. Now, number two is to extend work involvement, requires working long hours. Okay, so you need to be involved in the work of the organization. That's the only way that the organization can also invest in you. Self-nomination or self-presentation. It's important that as an individual, you take initiative to communicate the desires for increased responsibility to managers in creating an image of oneself, of being an achiever, making known your success. A lot of us are too humble. I'm also deficient in this, and I am working on it every day. Sometimes people will do very little and they will sell themselves. I call it marketing yourself, where they will present it as though they have done the greatest thing ever. I have a colleague who would they'll go for a smallest meeting, and the way they will make pictures of it and then post it in the groups, and you present yourself every day as someone who is working, who wants to achieve more. And because of that, the organization would bring you more opportunities that will help you anchor your career. Seeking career guidance. As an individual, it would be good to seek career guidance. Go for mentoring. I have started a mentoring process with a senior colleague. Interpersonal attraction, relationship building with one's immediate manager on the basis that he or she will have an impact on career progression through opinion conformity. So as much as possible, you want to build a certain relationship with your manager, with your superior, one that is disciplined enough, okay, not crossing barriers or not being too lenient. So that, and you are looking at this in terms of career building. If this is somebody who can help you in your career path, you want to make that known to them that I will need your guidance, I need your help. You go to them for the kind of advice that you need. They have gone ahead of you. So a lot of the things you are doing, you want to seek their input, you want to seek materials from them, and so on. Networking is also very key. Develop contacts both inside and outside organization to gain information and support. So if you know the area in which you are growing, build your network around that. If you want to be um, a manager in a certain field, you start to make friends around that. Go to places that you meet such people. Get onto social media, LinkedIn, and all that, and make sure you are linking up with people of that caliber who would have a positive impact on your career. Now, in the part of the organization, what organizational strategies can be taken to help with career development? Career path. This shows the skills types necessary for moving to the next level, as well as the minimum length of time employees must spend at each step to obtain the necessary experience. As an organization, this needs to be very clear from the very beginning, and so that employees can know that this is what they need to be able to progress in a certain career path. And that is usually in some policy documents um, of the organization that makes it very clear what is needed. Career conversations, having conversations with an individual's line manager or other managers. So it's important that as well, from time to time, some conversations are had with the supervisor of an employee so that the organization can place themselves in a position where they can be supportive of the career development of that employee. There's also managerial support through appraisals. Um, employees need what their appraisals so that they are able to better plan their career and performance lapses. So giving feedback, like we have been saying, is also very crucial. There's career counseling that needs to be provided by the organization, career workshops that will help people to acquire knowledge in the different career paths or developmental path that they can take. Career resource center can be a center in the organization that allows people to go and get all the knowledge that they need to be able to progress. What are the benefits of career development? One, it makes organizations attracted to potential recruits. So if you're an organization that positions yourself as one that develops people's careers, then people want to come. People want to come and give their best to that organization. And so you will do very well. It also enhances the image of the organization by demonstrating a recognition of employee needs. So you set yourself as an organization that cares, or as an organization that is able to grow people, to nurture potential. So people would want to come there. Likely to encourage employee commitment and hence reduce turnover. So, and if I come to an organization that is not too interested in my career development, I won't stay long there. Okay, so you want to position yourself as an organization that is interested in developing careers or developing potentials so that people stay longer, turnover is less. Encourage motivation and job performance as employees can see some possible movement and progress in work. I bet that, I mean, career progression or promotions is one of the key things that affects what turnover at employee turnover. People who do not see progress will leave, definitely. So these are the issues on career development. Thank you so much for listening. Please do send me questions of areas that you do not understand.